The following program is rated TVMA for language. We want everyone to be able to enjoy the program, but sometimes things happen, and we may say things that may be offensive to some or non-conducive to others. So in other words, happens. Oops. What up, y'all? We back. It is episode 4 of BLERD and GOAL with your host, me, the resident supervillain, Mr. J. Washington.
And Winston A. Marshall, the Swaggy BLERD. What's good, fam? Not the Cowboys.
Yeah, they're not good at all. Who that nation? Who that?
Shut your bitch ass.
You know, it's weird, too, because I'm rooting for two teams in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? And both of them tend to did what they needed to do. But...
What? Was that English?
What?
Tend to did what they needed to do?
Yeah, pretty much. I had to put... For those who don't know and you're new to the show, thank you. First of all, if you're watching this on the Facebook page, which more than likely you are, thank you everybody for coming over and joining and liking the page. We're going to keep this thing growing, and we need y'all to help keep this thing growing and moving. So when you watch this, like it, share it, all that good stuff. You got something?
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you for doing that. Be sure to subscribe, share that, throw it on Twitter.
I'm sorry. I have to actually upload the episodes to YouTube.
That's fine. We'll do that. We're not worried about it, but share that around. Hey, if you're listening to this on our podcast, if you listen to it on, what is it, Anchor?
If you listen to us on Anchor FM or on Spotify, we appreciate you as much as well. Please make sure you go ahead and share this also, all right? So I think those are all the places we can be found.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty
sounds about right.
All right. We're going to kick it off like we want to do, thanks to the Undefeated on Twitter, with the Black Quarterback Recap. Now, these are the top Black quarterback. These are in no particular order, all right? So first you got Teddy Bridgewater, 23 of 30 for 193 yards, no touchdowns against the Cowboys. That kind of sucked. Jacoby Brissett taking over in Indianapolis, 24 of 46 for 265 yards, 3 touchdowns. Lamar Jackson, even though he caught a lot of flack and it was just seeming like things were going bad, 24 of 34 for 247 yards, 3 TDs himself. Patrick Mahomes, now listen to this number, 24, let me turn the volume down real quick. 24 for 42 for 315 yards, no touchdowns. That is weird hearing that from Patrick Mahomes. We'll talk about that a little later. Kyler Murray, 22 of 32 for 241 yards, 1 touchdown. The most beautiful stat on this whole list, Dak Prescott, 22 of 33 for 230.
And I know it's the NBA on NBC. I don't give a fuck. That was the blackest basketball ever was. I'm taking it back. I'm throwing it on our quarterbacks right now.
The other people can hear you. Deshaun Watson, 21 of 33 for 160 yards, 1 touchdown. Russell Wilson, 22 of 28 for 240 yards and 1 touchdown. And the number 1 black quarterback, no matter how you ranked it this week, was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' own Jameis Winston.
Did
I tell you that like there's people that can hear you like bring that down? Yeah.
Are they fine?
No. What's up? I told you. Yeah. I told you bring that down. Yeah, niggas. No. 28 for 41, 385 yards with 4 touchdowns. Now, I will stay on this real quick. The Buccaneers and the Rams put on a show for a game that for the first 2 quarters did not look like it was going to be much of a show.
I'm going to say 2 things about this is interesting. First of all, the Rams are getting exposed. Badly.
But I think...
real talk, it was something that was already a thing shown by Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick kind of called them out like that, and he showed how vulnerable they really are. And if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can put up that many points on them...
I think the problem was we were so surrounded by the hype. The hype that Jared Goff was going to play a full year. Sean McVay is this new head coach, this youngest head coach in NFL history. You got Ndamukong Suh, Aaron Donald, and this amazing defense for the Rams. So everybody was caught up in this hype. And because, yes, the last season, their defense, their record was amazing. But I even said it, and I take out the fact that I'm a Saints fan. I have to. But them winning the way they won that Saints game, they were not supposed to be in the Super Bowl in the first place. And because they really shouldn't have been, they got exposed by Belichick, and they have been getting exposed this entire season, even though we are only 4 weeks in.
And I think there's a couple things going on. I think the first thing is the fact that there's tape on what McVay does now.
Yeah.
Like you said, there's tape on Goff, because Goff, honestly, is average at best.
Uh-huh.
And he got better because McVay gave him these things to work with. but he's being exposed for how average he is.
And I think Jeff Fisher knew that, but they wouldn't give Jeff Fisher the benefit of the doubt.
Because Jeff Fisher is trash. Let's be real.
Yeah, but
everywhere he goes, a dumpster fire ensues.
This is true.
So I'm not going to sit here and pretend like that's not its own thing. But I do think that Jared Goff is a very average quarterback at best, and he's starting to be exposed for that. And I think, again, once a weakness is shown, you still have to have the talent to back it up. Mm-hmm. But I think that that's just essentially what ended up happening here is that Belichick just gave everybody the playbook on how to beat the Rams, and it's starting to happen.
We'll see what happens as the season goes on. Again, it's week 4, so I know a lot of people are sitting there watching it like, yo, you cannot really judge what's going to happen in week 4 unless you're in fantasy football and you have a come to Jesus moment, because I just had to have it because of one Tom Brady, okay? Let me tell you this. The Patriots, they barely won against the Buffalo Bills. Now, normally when you say the Bills, it's a joke. This Bills team has been proven to be real this season, right? But the Patriots pulled it out 16-10. That sounds really awkward. Would you like to know why I feel like I'm in hell and having a come to Jesus moment with my fantasy team? Because Tom Brady scored me 3. 1, 2, 3 fantasy points. I looked at my score. I was like, wait, what?
He sent me the most vicious text message. He literally, and see, this is where you a piece of shit. He's like, man, Tom Brady got me 3 motherfucking points. And I was like, damn, sucks to suck, bruh. And he goes, I hope Dak's kneecaps explode. I hope Ezekiel Elliott gets arrested. I hope your whole life is trash. And guess what happens? This loudmouth motherfucker says this, and then I go and blow my knee out playing dodgeball. So I hope you're proud of yourself.
So what you're basically trying to say is you were living vicariously, the Cowboys were living vicariously through you, and because since they couldn't win a game, you lost your knee, shit just went wrong. Anyways.
I hate you.
And you love me and everyone else does. But also quarterbacks that kind of shock people. Again, I brought up Patrick Mahomes earlier, and this was the thing because the Chiefs squeaked out a win against the, at the time, undefeated Detroit Lions. Now, Detroit was one of those teams that were undefeated. There were many teams that were undefeated, but people were like, oh, even the Patriots, where people were like, oh, but their schedules haven't had them play anybody yet. And then when you had the Lions playing Kansas City, that's a team you're like, okay, this is a real test for Detroit.
Well, and that was the thing. All the teams that were undefeated, there were arguments that they didn't necessarily play anybody. You can make the argument with the Packers had a little bit of a harder schedule because they played the Bears and the Vikings, but the Vikings don't look the same. Because that
we'll talk about that in a moment.
That offense is ridiculous.
We'll talk about that in a moment.
The Bears, you haven't figured your flow out yet. You kind of did, and like you said, we'll talk about that in a minute. So the Packers had a real test. They got beat by the Eagles. The Patriots had a real test. They barely beat the Bills.
Yeah.
The Chiefs had a test against the Lions, and the Lions had a test against the Chiefs. The Chiefs barely squeaked out against the Lions.
Which, again, like I mentioned in the black quarterback stats earlier, Patrick Mahomes didn't have a touchdown. Like, he didn't throw for one. So,
which I think is his first
that's
one.
That's the first one.
Long time.
It's in a very long time. First, where he's had a game, he has not thrown for a touchdown. Now, he's handed the ball off runs and things like that. But does that now worry people with these teams going forward? You know what I'm saying? Like, people will say the AFC Championship, people have already said the AFC Championship in the beginning of the season was going to be Kansas City, New England.
People were saying at the beginning of the season because of the hype train on Cleveland, it was like Cleveland, Kansas City. But
that's not going to happen. No, that was going to happen. Yeah. But also, remember I brought up last week, will the Patriots go undefeated? Like, things are starting to change. And is it worth worrying?
But what's interesting is the formula the Bills put forward is one that we've always known. You just have to get to Tom Brady. You get to Tom Brady, he falls apart. What has been amazing for him his entire career is Bill Belichick has always given him a line to keep him upright. Period. Yes. And if he's left to his own devices, Tom Brady will pick you apart. But if you can put pressure on him, that's why the Giants beat him twice in the Super Bowl. You literally just have to rattle his cage. That's it. And it happened. So the same thing. Any of these defenses that are able to do that, so I think he's got to play us. He's got to play Dallas. I think Dallas can do that. He's playing all of the NFC East, so I'm not worried about any of the rest of those teams as far as any other defense getting to him. Who does he have left? Who are they playing the AFC?
It's the Chiefs, Kansas City. Is it?
Are they playing the Chiefs?
No. I'm sorry.
Anyway, we'll look it up right now and talk about it. But
yeah,
anybody that has a strong front four.
See, I just want to say for the record, while we have to look up shit, this is why we need to establish this and expand this into a bigger operation. So we can have that producer on the side who's like, yo, what we can be like, yo, what happened, blah, blah, blah. And they be like, it's this person. We be like, damn.
Do we need to start Patreon? It might be too soon for that, though.
I mean, I don't even know if people would actually join on it. People have been Patreoned out to an extent.
I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying? So we'll have to see with that.
Super chats?
But that's YouTube Live.
Oh, yeah.
That's YouTube Live. We'll figure about that when my new camera gets here.
You want to tell me how you got it?
A grateful fan, a wonderful fan. Like that's all I'll say. But anyway, let's go on. You brought up the Cowboys. Let's talk about the Cowboys now. They went into New Orleans. You know, they went in full hype train, undefeated so far, had parades in the streets in New Orleans, and was like, yo, they finna come in here and wreck shop. Now, granted, it was not a high-scoring game, but they are now 3-1.
Okay, so here's the thing. A lot of people, the thing that I think came out of this that was interesting is all the memes, and we'll get to the best one, but the one that like people love to pass around just about the Cowboys in general was the SpongeBob one. It's like me when the Cowboys when they were playing three garbage teams, and then the Cowboys when they played.
I'm gonna get up out.
I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. Like all of that, you know, memes left and right about like, oh, now you actually had to face an opponent. But let's talk about a couple things. First of all, Ezekiel Elliott only had 46 yards on the ground, I believe. And yet the Cowboys' offense was still humming. Like, I mean, Dak actually did some stuff, and I was concerned about that. If everyone says if Elliott's not doing anything, can the Cowboys actually do anything?
I think the addition of both Amari Cooper and Jason Witten returning.
Jason Witten fumbled in the middle of an open field.
I know. I'm not using just that one play, but in general,
sure.
For the first 3 games, he's been a valuable asset.
Gavin Austin even got in there in the mix.
Yeah.
He's really been doing a lot of special teams, but he had a couple of those reverses that worked out pretty well. I think across the board, the offense actually looks pretty good because we found out how to do stuff without just Ezekiel Elliott smashing the ball. Obviously, if he does, we do a lot better, but we can still do some stuff. But I think the bigger thing that the Cowboys did that I'm really proud of is that defense held. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater sucks, if we're being honest with you. But he held that offense with Kamara, who's been going off, and kept him very subdued the whole game. So the Cowboys needed this L. I'm actually not upset about it because it wasn't a blowout. It wasn't crazy.
Yeah.
We needed the L so we know what to go fix, which is a number of things. But we still have a very solid team now. If the wheels fall off after this, we have to play the Packers this weekend. Then whatever.
But let me go back to Teddy Bridgewater though. We look at certain quarterbacks and we just say, hey, they're just garbage completely, no matter what. And we've always been skeptical of Teddy Bridgewater from the different teams he's played with, and he was brought in to be a future starting QB and a franchise leader and whatnot. Then that just fell apart because he fell apart. Do you think it's coaching though? Because now he has a coach in Sean Payton who believes in him. He has a Drew Brees in his ear on headset, and he's holding the team up. No matter what.
Here's what I actually think, and I'm very curious about this. Bill Belichick has done a good job when like Brady was out of having his other quarterbacks do pretty.
He's made Jimmy Garoppolo
to like be good, right? But a lot of times when they leave, they're not very good. Now, Sean Payton has had his own first ballot Hall of Famer in Drew Brees, and has really made a name for himself as such because of Drew Brees.
Yes.
There's this now interesting inquiry. Is it just because of Drew? Is it that weird perfect tandem that once Drew is gone, is Sean Payton actually going to be able to do anything?
Well, I think, and to answer that, I think that's what we're seeing now. If the possibility of that, yeah, Breeze will be back before the season's over with. That's a given. But we have a backup quarterback who's now starting to lead the team and taking that role.
But
now,
he's not doing a good job at it.
Again, it's only been 2 games?
3.
Yeah,
he started to, but Drew was out within like a couple minutes of the second week.
No, yeah, I know that, but I'm just saying like we're starting to see he has to get the full feel of the offense in the game.
I understand, but he did not make any big plays. He holds the ball way too long. He got sacked a number of times.
So we'll go ahead and figure all that out and see what happens. So we're gonna take a quick break. Be right back after this. We've been talking about quarterbacks because that's been the main thing this weekend. Quarterback watching. And, there have been some spectacular plays, memes like Winston brought up earlier.
Oh, my God. Which, by the way, can we just talk about that real quick? What did we decide to call the segment about the wackiness that be happening?
Weird shit in the NFL.
We'll come up with a better name. We haven't really come up with one yet. This meme right here of Amari Cooper in quadruple coverage in the Hail Mary that Dak Prescott threw in the second to last play of the game.
It is one of the most accurate memes I think I've ever seen in my life.
It's amazing. So Amari's going up for the ball. The ball is in sight. 4 Saints all going for the ball at the same time. So it's my favorite one is the one that says me, my paycheck, my bills, my bills, my bills, my bills. Yep. Just trying to stop you from getting your
because that's what it sounds. That's what it's like in real life, and that's what I'm talking about. So, but those we talked about those. But let's go to, like I said,
real quick. I'm sorry. Tell us on Twitter which one was your favorite one. There's been a lot of iterations of it, so hit us up with that. Let us know,
or leave it in the comments.
Leave it in the comments. That's good too. Those are all really great. Now, please keep going.
Oh, no problem. So we were talking about quarterbacks. And there have been quarterbacks that you talk about how Teddy Bridgewater is bad. I would like to challenge that and say Kirk Cousins is terrible.
So bad his receivers are throwing him under the bus in press conferences.
When the receivers are like,
not just the receivers, when the white receiver is throwing your ass under the bus.
You know it's really bad.
You know it's real bad.
White receivers have always been team players.
Especially to the white guy to white guy connect. That's supposed to be like this, son.
You know how we say our shows are for the culture? That's for their culture.
Aaron Rodgers to Jordy Nelson was his favorite target forever. Tom Brady to Julian Edelman is his favorite target or to Gronk. You know what I'm saying? White guy to white guy connect is supposed to be that real one. And Thielen was not happening.
He was like, so what was he doing? Like, why was and credit to the Bears defense. This is also Minnesota is in this division, in our division, the NFC North, the black and blue division. This is the hard-hitting division. So as the Minnesota Vikings and your head coach, and the name misses me for the moment. Excuse me.
Mike Zimmer?
Oh, yeah, Mike Zimmer. I'm sorry. I thought they had somebody else because they changed so much.
I don't think so. I mean, I saw his ass on the sideline, so I don't think so.
I mean, coaches change. I'm sorry.
I know.
My brain was, I wasn't paying attention too much to the coaching, but it's probably Mike Zimmer. But you train your players that week going into battle. This is what team we're playing. And the team you're playing is the Chicago Bears, the number 1 defense in the NFL currently. You have to make sure, by all accounts, you are protecting the hell out of your quarterback. You got people coming. You got Khalil Mack coming in the back. You got, damn it, the name skipped me for a minute. I apologize.
It's your team.
My brain is thinking about. I got so many things on my brain as I'm doing this show right now, and I hate that for the honest life of me. But all these players are getting to Kirk Cousins, forcing fumbles, sacks, and Kirk Cousins is throwing short, incomplete passes, picks, almost picks. None have been directly picked. It was almost there, and this is the guy you traded for. You're Minnesota. This is the dude you traded for.
But I don't know why. Honestly. I have no idea why. I mean, I understand you were kind of done with Case Keenum, but why would you take on this big-ass contract from Kirk Cousins from a player that has shown signs of greatness, but it was few and far in between?
Yes.
I don't understand why we're doing that. That doesn't really make any sense to me, but whatever, man. It's fine. Do you. Boo-boo.
Speaking of that also, in the same game, Mitchell Trubisky goes out during the first scramble of the first play. He goes down with his shoulder.
Early, too, with the
shoulder.
He looked like he was doing that.
But the way he went down, and I've had that fall before, I understand the level of pain.
Well, because he pinned it. You know what it is? It's the way he went down was that look when you're kind of spooning your girl a little bit, and then you end up putting your arm to sleep because you had to sleep like this. You can kind of get it around, but imagine that at full speed. So
I haven't had the pleasure of spooning with anyone in a while because I've been lonely.
I hope when you edit this, you do that sad zoom in. Hello, darkness, my old friend.
That's how my face looked when I was looking at you talking about it. I felt like Ben Affleck during that press conference about
Batman, Superman.
Yes, but I get what you're saying. But this is why it wasn't. You would think that'd be a bad thing. Chase Daniel, who the Bears drafted for, comes in and balls his ass off. Chase Daniel come in making dime plays, throwing touchdowns, and me as a Bears fan and also Saints fan, I made up a meme because the next day it came out that Mitch Trubisky has a labrum tear. He won't need surgery. He'll be back sooner than later, according to Adam Schefter. So I just put Bears fans like this: don't rush, baby, don't rush, don't. Take your time. Mitch doesn't have. This is the one time where we're cool with the main quarterback being gone for a while.
Are you good with that with Chase? I mean, it's one game. That's my question. I mean, a lot of these guys have been coming. I mean, you had Daniel Jones come in one game, killed it, and he did really good in the second game.
But also, here's the thing about that. What Chase Daniel did is he instilled a lot more confidence to the offensive line and primarily the receivers than Mitchell Trubisky did, to be quite honest with you.
That's fair.
So, yeah, the team is amped up about it. Now, somebody hit me and was like, the entire league is pissed off at the Vikings because they took Trubisky out. So,
yeah, well, I mean, it happens. I don't know why you'd be upset.
Well, no, you're upset because you knew the Bears' only issue you had to worry about was their defense. Now you got to worry about their offense as well.
Oh, you're saying that they're upset because now they've actually unleashed a beast they didn't know was coming. Well, how do you know he's a backup? They're a backup for a reason.
Yeah.
So our last story that we're going to cover today, because we already did kind of the fun stuff at the top, this is another really serious thing that's been going on. So, the NFL has made their big thing about making sure that safety is like a huge deal. And this motherfucker, what is his name? Vontae Burfict has been causing all sorts of crazy damage to people for seasons now. You can go back and see these dirty, illegal hits. A lot of people were arguing that the whole reason AB has lost his goddamn mind at this point is because of when he knocked the shit out of AB with his crown-to-crown hit, and AB has been kind of weird ever since then. So he had a nasty hit in this last game with the Raiders, and he has now been officially banned for the rest of the season, and people are thinking that's probably going to be a career on him. And a lot of people were calling for it to be a career on him because he is actively endangering people's lives during the game. What do you think about this?
You have those players who are called headhunters. You have those defensive players that are headhunters. It is just something that has been a part of the game, unfortunately, for generations. It is something that also should be taken away. Like, remember the whole Bountygate scandal with the Saints, with defensive coordinator Greg Williams, who still has another team now for some reason. But
white men failing upwards, I
don't know. But you have that. And to know what Burfict's been doing, like, it is really dangerous. There is a passion. There is the gladiator environment when you're competing on the field. But at the same time, you're battling, and yeah, emotions may run high, but you want everyone to go home. This isn't like, like Any Given Sunday, that movie. This isn't one of those, I'm going to take you all the way out so you can never do anything again. I just think I'm not mad at the league at all for this. I'm not.
Well, it's the same reason that you see in any sport, whether it be soccer or basketball or anything like that. People don't like dirty players like that because, yes, we're playing and we're at war, but like there's a brotherhood level that you're not supposed to be out here actually trying to kill somebody.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's it. I just think that this dude needs to go away forever. I think he's whatever you make your money.
Let me also say this. At the same time, if we're finally going to come down on Burfict, you need to also start watching Sue, because he is just as dirty.
Well, he hasn't done anything in a while, but I understand
he steps
what you're
on faces and everything.
Yeah,
he's done a lot of.
But it's been a while. It's been a few years. It's been 3 or 4 years. Well, I think he does something every year.
Yeah, but so does Sue. Sue
didn't last year, and he didn't the year before that. It's been 2 years since he's had an incident.
Okay.
But I understand what you're saying. Anyway, that's going to be our time. So again, please be sure to like our Facebook page. Share this around. We do watch parties for the episode, so watch it with us. Throw us some comments. We would love to sit there, chat with y'all, tell us what.
Do y'all think we need to start a Patreon and make this grow? And if we do, would you support it? Is the question.
That's a great question. Let us know. Put that in the comments there. Hit us up on Twitter. Let us know if you would do something like that. Go and subscribe to the YouTube page. All that good stuff. We're going to be here every single week bringing you the things that you need to know about the NFL. And it's mostly going to be like either the hard-hitting stuff or the funny shit. We'll let the statisticians do all that. That's not what we're here about. We're here for the culture, and that's it. All right? So be sure to follow me, the Swaggy BLERD, THESWAGGY BLERD, on all the socials. Follow him, Mr. J. Washington, MRJAY. You know how to spell Washington. He's also got a Patreon for his own individual stuff. You should check that out.
Well, we won't bring that up right now.
Don't worry about that.
Because we want to talk about what we're going to do here.
That's true.
So make sure you guys come back next week, and we'll holler at you later. We out of here.
Peace.